Good early afternoon. We are live. I'm Andy Andrews. You've joined us on the Blue Plate Special, and we've got a great show for you today. Got people in the studio audience. It's not raining, which is kind of unusual for Orange Beach lately. It has just flooded. I mean, the other day it was like water pouring out of a boot. It was just that kind of flooding. And but we're here. We're happy. We're at here in the financial district of Orange Beach. In probably, well, maybe the biggest skyscraper on the canal, which we're on the second floor. Hey, Heather Olson, in Utah, and you shared. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so you enjoyed the podcast with John Nance, the FBI guy. That was awesome. Good morning from Pasco, Washington. Only in the 90s today. Hey, Pasco, Washington's turned out to be one of the hottest places I've ever heard of in my life. Like Lou says that the professional noticer was excellent this morning. Thank you for having him on. Absolutely. We thank John for being here. And Margaret Davis Hawk from Northeast Mississippi. Yep, she's mentioned in the interview with John Nance too. John was the supervisory special agent with the FBI. So make sure you watch that professional noticer. My sister is watching. Hello, Christy. And then Christy Carroll and Shirley Weaver, Greenfield Cold from Amarillo. Big G checking in. You're in Kroger? What are you doing watching us in Kroger, Big G? Brenna Gorman watching from Kansas. People from all over the place. You like the fish shirt? Marcy Crosset Taylor, this was my one shirt that I bought in Alaska. That was my one Alaskan souvenir, I suppose. So thank you, Marcy, and thank you, Judith DeWitt. Hey, in studio we have a bunch of people in studio. Have you guys had your picture taken with the escalator statues? Since you've been here, we got the Marlin statues in the middle, but we got 4 escalator statues on the edges. They are real. They look like real escalators. I mean, they're life size and everything. So a lot of people come in and they take their pictures with them. You are Andrew Lewis. Wow, Adrian and C. Lewis. Your mother used to sit there and like put the Vulcan mind warp grip on my neck. Adrian and Sue, dear friends of ours, both of them doctors. We like Sue more than we liked Adrian, but she used to like stand there and like when I'd have a crick in my neck, she'd just like stand there and just like put the Vulcan grip on me. So tell them I said hi and happy anniversary to you guys, right? 15 years. That's awesome. That is awesome. Tony and Beverly Hines from Galax, Virginia. Did I get that right? Okay. And Lisa Bryant from Foley. Where's Lisa? Hey, Lisa, local. Jerry Stack from Kennesaw, Georgia. Hey, Jerry.
No, I grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia.
What?
I grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia.
You did not?
I did.
There's not even a place called Kennesaw, Georgia. I'm thinking Kennesaw. I'm Kennesaw, Georgia. I know that the Kennesaw State has one of their colors is purple. Is it? Is it not purple anymore?
Yeah.
Years ago, I used to do college shows, as a comedian, and nobody knew how poor I was, and so the only thing on my rider was that I would get 2 T-shirts from every college, and they thought I was just like honoring them. I was actually getting some clothes, but
I was gonna say, my sister went to Kennesaw State. I should know more about their team. I think they're the Owls. Is that what was on your shirt?
Owls?
Is that what was on your shirt?
I don't remember. I remember purple and the Kennesaw because it was a sweatshirt, and I really liked it when people gave me a sweatshirt because that was like a step up from the T-shirts, But I think it's Delta State that was the Fighting Okra. I think so. I think that's right. Is that right? Tammy, look that up for us. and make sure I'm right. I would hate to call somebody the Fighting Okra that isn't. And of course, Harding University, they are the Bison. My favorite mascot story from all the college shows I ever did was from Harding University in Searcy, Arkansas, because I was up on stage and there's this big bison head behind me. And I made some comment about it, and some kid in the audience said, "Yeah, our mascot." And I said, "Oh, so you guys are the Bisons?" And they said, "Yeah, we are. And that's really our mascot." And I said, "That is?" And somebody said, "Yeah, an alumni gave us a baby buffalo, and we raised it and had a charity barbecue." I'm like, "You ate your mascot?" It's the only college I've ever been to where they ate their mascot, except maybe Delta State. Is Delta State the Fighting Okra?
It comes up. It looks like it's maybe the Fighting Okra is not the official nickname of the school, but it came about 20 to 25 years ago.
You can get a shirt.
You can. I'm looking at a Fighting Okra.
Yeah. I mean, they may not be official, but if you can get a shirt, that's official enough for me. The Fighting Okra. Yeah. John Carmichael from Orange Beach. Hey, buddy. So glad you're here. Dale Donnell. This where's the noticer? Well, this one's right here, but I don't know where the old one is. Jacob Norse. Hello, hello. How you doing, buddy? Nancy Kirkland from DeKalb, Mississippi. Nancy Jane. Oh, my gosh. You know, Nancy Jane was one of the first friends that I met of my wife the first time I went to DeKalb, Mississippi. DeKalb, Mississippi is the land time forgot. It's 30 minutes north of Meridian. There's actually dinosaurs walking around there. It's unbelievable. It's, I mean, when I went to DeKalb the first time, it said, "Welcome to DeKalb, Mississippi" on both sides of the sign. That's how little it is. That's how little. And Nancy Jane lived across from Polly. Everybody Polly introduced me to had two names. And Nancy Jane. So Nancy Jane. What's your mother's name? Mary Jane. Who's your dad? Wilmer Jr. And who's this other girl hanging out with you? Betty Joe. I mean, everybody has two names. So, except for my wife, which is, I guess, why they let her leave. Anyway, Lou Ann W., good morning. Is it good morning? Is it good morning where you are? Where are you? Okay. Our show today. The other day we did a show on, what was it? Bad reviews of famous authors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, bad reviews of famous authors, and
or rejections.
Yeah, rejections. But rejections of famous authors, and everybody got a kick out of that. We got a lot of feedback about that. But I came across, while I was researching for that, I came across something that is like a twist on that. These are, that one's got to be last. That one, okay. I meant to shift that to last, but I came across an incredible twist, and that twist is famous people who are not happy with their biographies. You know, somebody wrote a biography about them, and they're not happy. And so I found 5, and then we're going to change to another category. But the first one is the governor, the ex-governor of Minnesota. I'm going to say, hey, shout out to Dan Stone. That's Governor Jesse Ventura. And so for the first time ever, in the Capitol building in Minneapolis, first time ever, each portrait of an ex-governor in the Capitol now has a biographical note beside it. And it's sometimes just a note of what they did, sometimes a quote of what they said, but only deceased governors received write-ups previously. And so now, including the biographies of living ex-governors is meant to give the Capitol visitors more information about the former heads of their state. And, the person in charge of this said they're continually leading long lives past their governorship, and we want to include them, and we thought the public would be interested in their biographies. Now, you remember what former Governor Jesse Ventura did before he was governor, right? He was Jesse the Body Ventura. He was a wrestler, WWE or F or whatever one of those. But these wrestling. I told Cindy Solar, Christy Solar. Christy is a big wrestling fan, and I told her, I said, it's fake. I mean, wrestling fans, they're kind of booger eaters, I mean, these wrestling fans. I mean, you can kind of tell them. You can tell them, look, I'm going to tease you about it being fake, and so I'm really teasing, but I'm teasing, and they'll still get mad at you. But I heard Colin Cowherd call them booger eaters the first time, and I thought I was going to die, but now Christy Solar, every time she takes her son to one of the events, she says, we booger eaters are going to see so-and-so. But Jesse Ventura, his biographical sketch, so I think they still have it in for him up there. I mean, I think some people are still mad that he was governor because he told Minnesota Public Radio that the motto that's featured on the new biographical plaque that went up this month next to his portrait at the state capitol is not accurate. In fact, he says he never said it. But listed on his plaque, in quotes, is win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. I mean, can you imagine putting that up and somebody going, I never said that. I never said that. And they hate your guts enough to put it up anyway. Wow. There's respect for our ex-governor. Okay, the next one, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs' family, Apple, the executives, nobody is happy with this biography. His publisher was John Wiley and Sons, who does business books, and they did a biography of Apple CEO Steve Jobs, and it was called Icon Steve Jobs, the greatest second act in the history of business. Oh, that's the name of the book. Now, Apple was provided with an advance copy of the new book for fact-checking purposes, and that's where things went south. And as a result, Apple actually pulled every book from store shelves. And I mean, as soon as it went out, they pulled them. And Wiley Publishers is certainly going to feel a financial hit because not only is that book not out, but they have user-friendly titles that are no longer going to be sold in Apple stores, alongside the iMac Minis and the iBooks, and at the same time, there is little doubt that the Steve Jobs biography sales are going to soar as a result of this, right? I mean, Apple is going, no, nobody read it. We're pulling the book off the shelf. So what does that do? That's like telling a 3-year-old, you can't have it. You can't have it. I mean, are you kidding me? It's the greatest marketing ploy they could have done for Wiley and Sons. So, and get this, for the past 6 months, senior Apple execs have repeatedly made public statements just crushing the new biographies of Steve Jobs. And And they've praised one biography that portrays a largely positive picture of him. But the weird part of this is that the bio that they dislike so much is Jobs' official biography, because Jobs cooperated with the author on the book. Steve Jobs gave the author 40 interviews over 2 years. And this author interviewed hundreds of Jobs' family and friends. The book isn't a hit job. It's basically the book Steve Jobs wanted written based on Steve Jobs' memories of his own life delivered to one of America's most respected journalists. And I mean, that's what he wanted, and they're like killing it. So anyway,
That's wild.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That's very weird. Okay, Kurt Vonnegut. You know this name? Kurt Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse-Five, Cat's Cradle, a lot of considered pretty important books. Doesn't sound like a nice guy, though. Now, he's dead, so it's Vonnegut's family that is unhappy with Charles J. Shields' empathetic but unsparing biography. That's the way it was listed. Empathetic but unsparing. And I'm just reading, I'm telling you, this is from a review of it. It says, after reading it, humanity is not a word that springs readily to mind in association with Vonnegut. Yikes. It says, cruel, nasty, and scary are the adjectives commonly used to describe him by the friends, colleagues, and relatives the author quotes. Vonnegut could be charming, but he was seldom kind. He frequently repaid loyalty with abandonment and betrayal. When Shields met the author in December of 2006, he found a lonely, disenchanted man still angrily picking at childhood wounds. People unfamiliar with Vonnegut's novels are not likely to come away from this book with a burning desire to pick them up. Nonetheless, the author's sorrowful account of a writer who outlived his inspiration without ever outrunning his demons makes for compelling, if often grim, reading. Yeesh. Grim. The words like grim and cruel. I mean, golly. Oh my gosh. Sounds like Dracula or something. Okay. Jan Wenner. Jan Wenner. This is the guy who founded Rolling Stone magazine, and he was publisher of Rolling Stone magazine. So the first biography on Jan Wenner, it was released on Knopf. It was mostly against his wishes. Okay, he did not want this even released, but he had signed a bunch of contracts. He had fact-checked it. He had looked at everything. And then when it came out, he was like, I don't like that. The New York Times reports that Wenner has distanced himself from the book. The book is titled Sticky Fingers. And Wenner had a falling out with his biographer, who is a former New York writer, Joe Hagan. And he had a falling out over the inclusion of details on Wenner's sex life and personal relationships. Though Hagan spent 4 years researching Wenner's life and conducted more than 240 interviews, including rare talks with Wenner's ex-wife Jane for the book, all with Wenner's involvement and support, Wenner recently disavowed the biography after reading the final copy and has canceled promotional appearances for it. Because part of his story is that he didn't always treat people right. And prior to Hagan's book, there have been 2 other books that were failed attempts at a biography on Winter. Both of them were jettisoned when Winter yanked his support. And Hagen claims that while Winter appears to feel blindsided by how much the book focuses on his personal life, Winter signed off on all of it. Well, okay. Sarah Palin. She is not happy with her biography. It's titled Trailblazer, an intimate biography of Sarah Palin. Now, I gotta say, I'm ambivalent about Sarah Palin. Okay, I'm just she's was a pretty vice president, or a pretty vice presidential candidate. She was she has the best eyesight of any politician I've ever seen. She could see Russia from her home. And I'm just a little bit ambivalent about her, but I got to say that after researching why she is upset about this biography, of all the people that I found, she has a good reason. Okay, listen to this. This book was written by People magazine assistant editor Lorenzo Benet. And so Palin is accusing the author of writing fantasies and practicing bad journalism. Now, why would she do that? Okay, well, Benet said did an interview with Politico, and he detailed an exchange between Palin and McCain in there. And she says that never happened, okay? And so, but he says in an interview with Politico that was based on information. Wait, back up, Matt, back up. Okay. The account of the exchange between Palin and McCain, he said, was not based on information provided by the governor. And the author added that the line was based off my own sourcing and that it's my own gut instinct. She didn't tell me that. Seriously. I mean, you're just saying, yeah, it's just my own gut instinct that probably happened. And so I'm going to put it in the book. Because she never said it, but it's my own gut instinct. McCain's dead. We can't talk to him. And I'm doing a book on her, and she don't want the book done. And so it's my gut instinct that this... Are you kidding me? Okay, so here is the greatest... Here is the one that put my eyebrows up around my hairline. Hunter Thompson was unhappy. What did we say, unhappy?
I'd say so.
Yeah. He was unhappy with the biography that was written on him. And so he wrote this letter to the author. He wrote this note to the author. And I've got to bleep.
I was wondering. I was like, am I going to use the mute button here?
Yeah, I'm going to bleep the second word here. All right, so Hunter Thompson wrote this to the author. You bleep-eating freak. I warned you not to write that vicious trash about me. Now you better get fitted for a black eye patch in case one of yours gets gouged out by a bushy-haired stranger in a dimly lit parking lot. How fast can you learn Braille? You are scum. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking he didn't like it. He did not like it, yep. Wow. What was that first line again? You blank-eating freak. I warned you not to write about me. Oh, my gosh. All right. Okay. All right. That was a doozy of a letter. Now, we're going to switch tracks here just for a little bit. Okay. And so this track, this is celebrities that were on track to have a good bio, but not anymore. Okay. All right. So here's the first one. A CMA nominee for Male Vocalist of the Year. 2 gold records, 1 platinum record. With Take This Job and Shove It, Johnny Paycheck is on the way to a great career in country music. Until he went into a bar and shot a guy in the head. And that did it. I know a lot of country music people, and it is a well-known thing that if you want to like screw up your career, just shoot a guy in the head. And that'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah. The guy didn't die, but he shot him in the head. Now, I guess if he'd have killed him, like David Allan Coe did a guy in prison, he'd have had a career that could have kept on going. All right, but Johnny Paycheck just shot him in the head, and that did it. The biography is over. Everything is over. That's not even a cheap movie of the week. Emily Isbell, Little M, hello, how are you? We're glad you're with us. Okay, he was the Oscar-nominated star of many movies, well loved by his fans since his teenage years. He starred in The Legend of Bagger Vance. He starred as Muhammad Ali. But when he slapped Chris Rock on national TV, okay. I think we feel a little bit differently about Will Smith now. I mean, he was supposed to be a nice guy. He was supposed to be a nice guy. And I think it's just like the Apple people inadvertently selling more books. I think Will Smith inadvertently sold a dump truckload of concert tickets for Chris Rock. I mean, wouldn't you pay to see Chris Rock just to hear him talk about that? Oh my gosh. Okay. He's a chubby guy who ate our food and got slim. He's happy. He's fun. He's Jared from Subway, and he's in prison. Okay. Yeah. No more Jared at Subway. I can't imagine being the Subway people and taking this ordinary guy and making him he is the guy. He's the guy that you're putting up on billboards and you're doing commercials, and he's on Super Bowl commercials. Can you imagine that call into the CEO's office? Can you imagine? He did what? He did with who? He did what? I mean, I just...
Yeah, it's horrifying. So...
Okay. He won the Heisman. He was a first-round draft choice of the Buffalo Bills. In the NFL Hall of Fame. Holds records still at USC and in the NFL. Okay, but that white Bronco and everything that came after it, that did it for OJ. Yeah, I mean, and do you know that when they were casting the Terminator, did you know that it was down to Arnold Schwarzenegger and O.J. Simpson. Totally serious. It was down to them. And the reason Schwarzenegger got the nod is because they decided that O.J. was too nice a guy. They said he comes across as just too nice. He's just too nice. O.J. is also a great example of the butterfly effect. You know? I mean, you know the butterfly effect. If you don't, there's a book right behind you. But in 1970, the Buffalo Bills missed a 50-yard pass in a game, and they lost the game at the last minute. And because they lost that game, they were awarded the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And so they chose O.J. Simpson with the number 1 pick in the draft. So O.J. moves to Buffalo, where in Buffalo he meets his wife, Nicole. Then you move on through what happened, and O.J. hired as an attorney Robert Kardashian, who had a crazy wife and a bunch of crazy daughters. Okay, and this wife and these daughters, we didn't even know they existed. Okay, but Kardashian wins the case, and then People magazine is like doing stuff on his whole family and what he eats for breakfast and his daughters. And then one of them, Kim, she drops a sex tape. And so now the Kardashians are all over. So the reason we have to deal with the Kardashians today is because the Buffalo Bills missed a 50-yard pass at the end of a game. That's why. And because of that, we have to suffer through the Kardashians. But I think the number 1 fall from grace, the number 1 person who had a good biography going, and no more Jell-O pudding pops. He was America's dad until he wasn't. Bill Cosby. Everybody's looking sad. Sheesh. Well, I tell you what, Bill Cosby caused me to do business a different way. I'll tell you that. Because, when we post stuff on social media, which we don't do as much as we used to, but when we post stuff on social media, this was a few years ago, I saw one because my team has the power to post any quotes, right? And so it was a quote from somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but I just got this feeling, and I called the office and I said, hey, a new rule about the quotes. You can quote me, anything I've written in the books, you can quote me, and you can quote dead people. But, we don't, the jury's still out on so many of these people. And, you hate that, but I mean, again, imagine Subway, imagine Jell-O, imagine Hertz, rent a car with OJ. And so I got to really, really know somebody. And it's why with Wisdom Harbor, wisdomharbor.com, the captains we select, it's something really, really serious. And we talk to them and say, hey, this is kind of a movie we're casting, and it's never going away. I mean, it's continuing on. And so we can't have a Bill Cosby here. And so who is this that said said this? Dina Kovacic said, I don't think I'll ever understand some people in the situations they put themselves in. It's true. I wonder a lot of times about the thinking. I wonder if it's arrogance, if it's stupidity. But I do see, whether stupidity is involved or not, I do see a lot of arrogance involved in a lot of those decisions. So that's one of the things, when I work with a company, I make sure I get some raise from the leadership to make sure that these people who are leading the company, if I'm going to work with them, there has to be some humility there. That's something that is like a core value of theirs, that they don't know everything, and that other people might know more than they know. And it's just, but we've all worked with people who are arrogant, and that pride thing, in Proverbs, it's people say pride goes before a fall, but it's actually what is it, Mike? In Proverbs, it's not pride goes before a fall. What is it that goes before a fall?
I always thought it was pride.
No? I'm sitting there telling a preacher, no, it's not pride. It's because pride goes before destruction.
I thought August came before the fall.
Yes, Matt. August comes before a fall. I'll be the funny one, Matt.
I hope that wasn't your punchline. Did I take your
No,
joke?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So what is it? Pride is
Haughty spirit.
what?
Haughty spirit.
A haughty spirit before a fall, right? Yeah, a haughty spirit goes before a fall. And when you think about it, you can get up from a fall. But pride goes before destruction. You don't get up from destruction.
That's good.
Well, there's our happy moment to end this in this show. Oh my gosh! Hey, we hope to see you again with us on Thursday. Of course, to be here on Thursday, you have to be a member of WisdomHarbor.com, and there's no excuse. There's no reason for you not to be a member of WisdomHarbor.com. Your entire family, up to 8 devices. A subscription for the entire year is $50-something. It's less than a half a tank of gas, and an individual can join for $20-something for the entire year. And so there's live events. There's tons of captains delivering content. This is going in schools. If you want to find out how to get it in your local school system and what's happening with it, let us know. But we'll see you Thursday with another version, another episode of the Blue Plate Special. And my mind just like whipping around in circles right now. We're glad to have you here. And those of you in the studio, don't forget to get your pictures taken with the escalator statue. Okay, bye-bye.